Here's my perspective of you. Here's my opinion of you. It is inherently selfish and irresponsible to not demonstrate your value to the world. You do the world a disservice. You do me a disservice. You do your friends a disservice. You do your family a disservice, your community a disservice, when you do not find yourself a way to demonstrate the value that you have. Here's the perspective that I marry myself to, and you should marry yourself to as well. The common barrier, opposition, point of resistance a lot of men will tell me in respects to their aspiration of becoming a YouTuber, or doing some kind of trading business, or creating something or other. Can't think of any good examples right now. Is the market is saturated, Joseph? How do I stand out? How do I stand out? You are the unique currency. You are the unique currency. There's no other currency out there. That's you. And here's the thing. It might only be your unique currency, which is the insight, which is the practical step, which is the mechanism by which a person gets to this pain point they're having now to something else. It might only be your insight. They might only find relatability with you, how you speak, the analogies you use, your personal experience. Nobody's personal experience is the same. A lot of people resonate with me because maybe they did drugs as well. Maybe they were smoking a lot of weed at university and they found out they were getting smelly, antisocial, and anxious. Yeah, that's my story. It's not particularly, well, it is more unique, I would say, than others. But again, it's not something that I'm necessarily proud of, but I leverage it to my advantage. So what's your unique currency? What's a problem that you had that you no longer have? It's another great way to think about it. I think about the problems that I had with weed and pornography and the struggles I went through when I used to combine those things as well, which was just destroying my reward centers, smoking a joint and watching pornography. I didn't want to go and speak to other people. I had all this shame and this heat emanating off of me, this creeping guilt behind my ears. I couldn't even speak to other people. And then I solved the issue. And I thought, I wonder who else is having problems with this issue. I wonder if they tried meditation. I wonder if they tried subverting their limbic system, which is your emotional system, and keeping your prefrontal cortex on through practices like mindfulness, meditation, letting go, Qigong, Tai Chi, some of the other practices that I preach. Got something in my eye here. That's my methodology that helped me get to where I am now. And there's 1,001 other men who have also learned how to move through that pain point, like I mentioned. Where was it? Over here, over here, through that system, through my unique mechanism in order to do so. What's your unique mechanism? Maybe you're really good at talking to girls. Maybe you understand that. Maybe you're really good at writing emails. What's your unique value? So that's kind of part one of this little lecture. No, it's not a lecture, it's a discussion. This is a conversation me and you are having, by the way, bro. That's kind of part one of the conversation here is don't be so selfish. Do not deprive individuals out there who are having the same problem you had and not helping them. It's rude. It's dishonest. It's greedy. The second step is practice your craft every single day. Practice your craft every single day. Practice your art every single day. Do not be obsessed with the monetary outcomes. They will come, but instead focus all of your attention on mastery. Change your perspective from have to do something to get to do something. Because sometimes it can be a little bit, I don't know, you feel that stagnation, maybe when you're trying to create something for yourself. You say to yourself, oh, I need to write some tweets this morning. Don't get to write some tweets. Sorry, you don't have to write some tweets. You get to write tweets. You get to practice your craft. You get You get to exercise your art. You get to become better at writing, at communication, at affecting people's lives in a more positive and succinct way. That's the way you need to approach it. Not an obligation, an honor. Don't ever be obligated to do something. You should have pride in getting to do that thing. Irrespective or not if I'm making videos for Masculine Theory or I'm making videos on this channel, I get to do it. I get to refine the way that I communicate, I speak, my cadence, my tone, my body language, how it's affecting people. If it's giving you a positive insight, a positive emotion, something I'm working on recently is creating more positive emotions in my videos, because that limbic system is ever so powerful. People tend to backwards rationalize, I learned the other day. Meaning you are more likely to take action on an emotion, and then after you've taken that emotion, you use logic to rationalize why you did that thing. It's not the case. It's because you had an emotion. It's because you were feeling something at that time. That's why the behavior happened. It's not because you thought about it. It's because you felt about it. It's powerful stuff. You're still learning your craft. That is all in the pursuit of mastery, of communication. That's my craft, communication. How do I become a better communicator? How do I add more words and vocabulary into my lexicon that is conducive to comprehension, let's say, right? Who's my target audience? Am I speaking right for my target audience? Is my message coming across in a correct way? That's what you need to think about. Practice your craft every single day. You get to practice your craft every single day. And the third one is demonstrate value. Demonstrate value. I really want to think about that word. I made a video on this a couple of days ago. Demonstrate value. How do I demonstrate value? Just think about that. How do you demonstrate value, brother? What are the things in your life that you've demonstrated that innate change? Maybe it's a different insight. Maybe it's a different way of thinking about the world. See, that idea of demonstrating value, it was a different phrase that I've heard before. You hear people say, just give people value. What about demonstrating value, though? Demonstrate your value. Demonstrate your value in terms of the insights you give people that change the way they approach life in a more positive way. Maybe the way I demonstrated value just earlier was the difference between the limbic system and the prefrontal cortex, meaning the prefrontal cortex is a logical part of your brain and the limbic system is a more emotional part of your nervous system. And understanding the difference in the prefrontal cortex shutting down when the limbic system activates is the difference between you having more control and not reacting to your emotions as opposed to responding to them. Keeping the prefrontal cortex on so you can use logic in discernment or to circumvent your emotions. And this is really crucial to understand when you're trying to quit a poor habit like smoking or drinking or smoking or weed. We were talking about weed earlier. Is people will smoke a joint because they feel desire or they're bored. And then after they smoke that joint, when the prefrontal cortex comes back on, they'll backwards rationalize and go, but I did have a hard day. Well, weed is harmless. Doesn't affect me. I'm gravy, baby. Doesn't make me anxious. Backwards rationalizing. Your prefrontal cortex shut off. You weren't there. Your limbic system took over. You renounce control over your animal, of your spaceship, of the cockpit. Demonstrate value. How do you demonstrate value in terms of what you eventually want to monetize? Let's take the example of getting a girlfriend. A lot of guys are very lonely out there nowadays. How do you demonstrate value to an individual that ultimately wants the outcome of falling in love? Well, maybe you demonstrate value by showing him skills or a paradigm shift in how you can communicate with women. So here's a paradigm shift in relation to communicating with women is the man who is able to seduce a woman, let me rephrase that. The man whose focus and attention is in alignment or in congruence with fun is always going to win over the individual who's trying to become, trying to be cool and stoic and impressive and, show off. Because women are inherently emotive creatures. They do this backward rationalization more than any other person, more than any other man. You've heard this before, but it's a trite throwaway comment. So just hang out with me here for just a moment, okay? So you've heard the trite comment, women are more emotional than men. Okay, you hear it all the time. Yeah, but women are more emotional than men. It's nice to say, but do you understand what that means? It means if you're trying to pursue a conversation predicated on logic and understanding, if you're trying to flirt with a girl, it's just not going to happen. You need to engage her at an emotive level. The content of what you say doesn't matter. Let me say that again. The content of what you're saying to a woman, if you're trying to invoke her or engage her in an emotional way and get her to feel you, the content doesn't matter. It's the feeling you give her as a consequence of how you're saying what you're saying. What does your body look like as you're saying the thing that you're saying? So the importance is, it should be focused on your delivery of what you're saying as opposed to the content of what you're saying. I've literally seen guys walk up to women and they're trying to they're thinking about what's the best thing to say, what's the best pickup line, and the other guy will just walk up to her and talk about fucking blueberry muffins. But his tone, his pitch, his delivery, is so emotively charged, right? It's charged with emotion. There's so much emotion behind it that he's always going to win over the person who's trying to intellectually seduce her. What women say and what women feel is a completely different thing. That's a great piece of information to know in order to demonstrate value. To take a preconceived idea of, women are emotional creatures, to actually application here. Okay, so now I know if I want to engage a woman and start to build attraction, I need to focus on feeling. Well, how do I focus on feeling? I have to use tone, I have to use body language, and charge. The content doesn't matter, but the emotional impact of what I'm saying does matter. Yes. Now try it. And then when you see the positive feedback that you get as a consequence of maybe being a little bit more emotive, a little bit more silly, having more fun, instead of trying to be cool, calm, stoic. I want to be the cool guy at the bar that all the women are attracted to. Let them come to me. It doesn't work that way. Emote her. Attraction isn't a choice in this way. I said that before in a previous video. And for sake of this turning out very, very similar to my other video, I just want to conclude again that kind of very simple path to solopreneurship, let's call it.